Begin our reading there, verse 1. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters. The great harlot we just read about represents the devil's spiritually adulterous religious system. Now, followers of this counterfeit version of Christianity only appear to be joined to the true God, when in reality their hearts are far from Him. Verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Now here in verse 2, the wording indicates that the harlot made the kings and the inhabitants of the earth drunk with power, with pride, with false worship, and with material possessions, all of which will perish in the judgment. Now, fornication here in this passage means idolatry. Any worship other than worship of the one true God is considered spiritual adultery and will be judged. So he carried me away in the spirit to the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, the harlotry of the false religious system in the last days will be seen in her alliance with the political powers of the world. The 7 heads and 10 horns speak of the political system of the beast, which is the Antichrist. Verse 4, the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. Now, though this great harlot is dressed like a queen, the cup she holds is full of what we just read, abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. This is the way sin works. It comes covered in attractive veneer that hides its evil and its hideous consequences. Verse 5, and on her forehead a name was written, Mystery, Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And I saw her. I marveled with great amazement. So the name on the woman's forehead recalls the place where idolatry began, which was the Tower of Babel in Genesis chapter 11. And the ancient city of Babylon in the book of Daniel. Now, in the Old Testament, Babylon was synonymous with idolatry, with pride, and with rebellion against God. And in the end times, Babylon the Great is a city yet unknown. The system of idolatry that began in the ancient times continues to this very day. Going on at verse 7, but the angel said to me, why did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that you saw was, and is not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition. And those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they see the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. So, in verses 7 through 8, an angel begins to interpret the mystery of John's vision, identifying the beast as the Antichrist who deceives the whole world. And we talked about that back in chapter 11, verse 7, and also in chapter 13, verses 3 through 4. Now, his deception includes a mimicked death and resurrection. We see that where it said in that passage we just read, the one that you saw was and is not and will ascend. All right, verse 9. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going to perdition. So the woman is the harlot, the representative of the false religious system of the end times. Now the 7 mountains are Rome. Why? Because Rome is known as the city that was built on 7 hills, or its corresponding kingdoms. Now the 8th king, who is yet to come, the Antichrist, will emerge from somewhere within the Roman Empire. All right, let's go on verse 12. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdoms as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And those who are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. So the 10 horns are 10 kings who will be given authority to rule the world with the Antichrist during the tribulation. The reign will end with the triumph of the Lamb, Jesus Christ. Verse 15, then he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to fulfill his purpose, to be of one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast, until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman whom you saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. Now these verses show the self-destructive nature of sin. The very people who rule with Rome, the harlot, now turn against her and destroy her. The evil world system marvels at the beast and follows him. But he will actually turn against it and destroy it. Now that God moves the kings to want to fulfill his purpose shows that he is in control and that his goodness still reigns. Even in the midst of the evils of the end times, chapter 17 concludes with Babylon, that great city, ruling over the kings of the earth. And no matter where you're at or what you see today, you can see a one world order trying its best to rear its ugly head today. You need to keep in mind that Rome still exists. Vatican City is Rome. And so, a lot is setting up on the world stage right before our very eyes. We need to be aware, and as we talked about this morning, we need to be right with the one Savior, Jesus Christ. We need to be ready because he will return. Pray that you'll all be ready for that return.